Yeah, hi. Hello. Whew, this is my hot take on Genesis 17, the covenant of circumcision. When Abraham was 99 years old, the Lord appeared to him and said, I am God Almighty. Walk before me faithfully and be blameless. So he makes another covenant. This is what, like the third? I don't know, I'm losing track. Third, fourth? I don't know. Abram fell face down. This is where he gets his new name. No longer be called Abram. Your name will be Abraham. For I have made you a father of many nations. I will make you fruitful. Same promises. Same stuff. I will establish my covenant. Everlasting. Covenant. Between me and you and your descendants after you and generations to come, and your God and God of your descendants after you in the whole land of Canaan. And you will now reside, where you now reside as a foreigner. I will give you an everlasting possession, you and your descendants after you. I will be their God. And then God said, As for you, you must keep my covenant, and for generations, and every male must be circumcised. What a strange turn things took. We go from being a war hero to now you gotta cut off part of your willy to be in compliance. And not only that, your wife, who did terrible things, and you did terrible things with Abraham. You're a terrible people. Getting covenants with God? What's wrong with these pictures? And it specifically says those gotten from other lands, like your slaves. You're to mutilate your slaves in this way as a covenant to me. Like, I require your schmucks in order to function. What kind of God are we talking about here? Why is this a covenant? Why is this a thing? Do we hear ourselves? Do we see what we are talking about? We're talking about mutilating every boy, every man. Why? This is a covenant. Why? The covenant doesn't explain a goddamn thing. This is, pardon my cursing. However, why do we care about these terrible people? They're awful people being blessed by God and doing more terrible things and cutting off parts of themselves. What happens to the removed foreskin? And what is the purpose? Why all of a sudden does the God go from being okay with burnt offerings and not splitting certain birds in half with the offerings and into this? And we have covenant on covenant and domain heaping on domain heaping, and these man figures throwing tantrums, to now all of a sudden, why circumcision? Why are we obsessed with the dingles that dangle? Why do we care about the Manameats? Why do we care about the casing of the sausage? Why is that a thing that God cares about? Does it have to do with the disease? Does it have to do with the herpes given to the Pharaoh by Abram by saying that Sarah was his wife? Does it? Were they trying to medically treat a virus? I don't know. Who knows? These people are knucking futs. I don't. And I don't understand how people can read this. in any context, in any form, and be like, yeah, that makes sense, total sense. So let's just keep mutilating the willies of the little boys. Let's just carry on as tradition, because I don't want it to look different. Why are you looking at pee-pees? Why? I'm gonna go back to the casing of the sausage. Why do you care what the casing of the sausage looks like? Don't understand. Don't understand. And then when he was 99 years, well, the circumcision thing, because it rings a bell for me when I think about it. When I remember when I was a kid, asking something about circumcision, talking about circumcision somewhere, because in the religion I was raised in, they didn't differentiate the teachings for the children. Children learned things the adults did, and so it was normal to discuss things like circumcision in front of children. And I remember some vague scientific-ish justification for it being on the 8th day, and that's when the infant's blood was able to coagulate properly. But if they couldn't do it before the 8th day because the infants couldn't coagulate their blood properly, blah blah blah. I don't know how anything makes sense with this. So onward to the next.